Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kwadash. I would also like to give a double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the men of the Lord, the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundation of this earth to sing this gospel, which comes in the form of this beautiful truth, man. And shalom to you, beloved Akyam and Akwath, that are out there striving and fighting. All right. This on back again through the spirit, power, mercy, and grace of our power, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai. And I just wanted to get into a brief live stream, pretty much talking to this wayward talking point that these guys over at TGC, they come under TGC now, the Genesis Church, I guess they call themselves, consisting of Demon Hassad and Demon Hakai. And this is something we've gone into, another talking point, stronghold that has been knocked down many times over by the truth. But needless to say, it's always good to go back into these things. Pretty much it keeps our sword sharp. And it keeps the reality of the scriptures relevant as well. All right. It keeps the doctrine pure, because again, there's guys like these guys that are going to try to weasel in and bring forth false doctrine. But it's our job as true stewards, as true conduits, true ambassadors, true watchmen, true seers of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, to bring forth the validity of the scriptures. And I'm going to play this clip real quick. I just want to make a few points regarding this wayward, wrong talking point, all right, coming out of TGC, these ex-Sakari members. And pretty much just make it make sense through the Spirit. Brothers have done lessons on this. I just wanted to tap into it through the Spirit, based on, what Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai has revealed unto me. But needless to say, through the Spirit, what's important to understand, when scriptures like this are being weaponized to bring forth falsehood, to some way, somehow, join the heathen, to our inheritance, try to incorporate a replacement theology. All we have to do, all right, all we have to do is go back to the contract, okay? All we have to do is go back to the contract. This is all we got to do, all right? That right there is pretty much going to substantiate the reality of this, Gentile, which I'm talking to the heathen, the natural heathen, being able to have any type of salvation regarding, the promises, the covenant, or anything that evolves around, the second covenant that we're going to come into, immortality, all right, the sovereignty, the glory, that's going to come in the eon to come. It's only for, all right, the Israelites. Now, will the heathen benefit, all right, from a righteous rulership, all right, from, the wisdom, knowledge of and understanding of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai being exacted on the planet Earth? 100%. They're going to benefit from that. The earth is going to be a paradise once again. Everything on the earth is going to benefit, all right, from the results, all right, of the righteous ruling. You see? And but it doesn't that's pretty much where the line's drawn, as far as, the Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, being a God, unto his people in the form of, establishing them, protecting them, and covering them. All right, that's only going to be for the nation of Israel. As a matter of fact, let me get this real quick to prove that. We're going to get right into this. All right, this is the book. Let me see something real quick. Bear with me, beloved Aki Amenakwa. This is the book of, and I know the elders are on. We got the elder apostle Tahar premiering. The beloved elder apostle Gabar just went live. So I know a lot of you beloved Aki Amenakwa for tuning in to the beloved elder apostles. The spirit just hit me so heavy. So I just hit the button, But needless to say, let's do this, right, real quick. Before we grab this clip, before we grab the receipt, all right, let's go to Wisdom of Solomon real quick. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, all right, chapter 5 and verse 15, and it reads this: "But the righteous live forevermore." We got to stop right there, because now it's a play on words. Now we got to stop right there, and we got to figure out who are the righteous. All right, precept must be upon precept, line must be upon line, right? Here a little, there a little. So let's jump out of here real quick, and let's show you who the righteous are. Okay? Now the scripture just said the righteous shall live forevermore, bro. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do, let me read that precept, because I do want to come back here and get a little more. Let's do this. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 15. "But the righteous live forevermore. Their reward also is with the Lord, and the care of them is with the Most High." Again, let's stop and let's find out who the righteous are. All right? Now let's go here. When you go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, okay? Now I'm gonna get one, I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna get one precept, and then I'm gonna jump to the point. Right? I'm gonna go to Isaiah 60 and 14, and then we're gonna jump from here to the point, right? Check this out. "The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee." Who afflicted us? All the heathen, starting with Esau. This is why Jeremiah 30 and 16 says what it says regarding all of the heathen going into captivity. Let's continue on. "And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet." Who despised us? All the heathen nations, starting with Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. Okay, all these heathen nations despise us, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, bro. Starting with Esau. Let's continue on. But guess what? The scripture's saying they're going to come bowing down to us, right? They're going to come bowing down at the soles of our feet. Check this out. "And they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel." Jumping down to the point. All right. Verse 21. "Thy people also shall be all righteous." Who's this talking to? Israel, bro. We just read, all right, in verse 14, that the city of the Lord, the city of Zion, is going to be coined as the Holy One of Israel, right? Jumping down to 21. "Thy people also shall be all righteous," bro. All of Israel is going to be righteous. These are the righteous talking. That's Wisdom of Solomon 5 is talking to, man. All right? They're going to live forevermore, which evolves around that second covenant. The second covenant entails immortality, man. We're going back to our righteous estates. Okay? Look it. "Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever." What land? What land? The land that these smart hats are in right now, claiming that it's theirs. Okay? The land that they claim, all right, belongs to them, which they don't even have the totality of the land. They're only living on a portion of it, showing you that they're not them. Okay? But anyways, "They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified," man. So all at the end of the day, this is all for the glorification of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai at the end of the day. All right, the way the Lord is going to exonerate, glorify, and enhance his people. Right? But going back to Wisdom of Solomon 5 real quick and continuing on in verse 16, therefore shall they receive a glorious kingdom and a beautiful crown from the Lord's hand. For with his right hand shall he cover them. Yahushai, right? Look it. And with his arm shall he protect them, man. Okay? So now, when we go to this concept that's being established, or being spewed, I should say, rather, by Demon Hakan, Demon Hassan, let's dissect it real quick. All right, so let's go here. And let's get this real quick. I'm going to use the beloved brother, his channel's Biblical Defenders, the beloved elder. I'm going to use his video. Check this out.
Then came she and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, It is not me, or it is not right, to take the children's bread and cast it into the dogs. She wants her daughter to get healed. He says, I'm not sending her unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then she begs him and says, Lord, help me, please. And he says, it's not right. Me helping you wouldn't be right, because it's not right to take the children's bread and to cast it to the dogs. And she said, Truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table. Then Jesus answered and said unto her, O woman, great is your faith. Be it unto you even as you will. And her daughter was made whole from that very same hour. Now, why is this important? How does this debunk the ideology and notion that only Israelites can receive salvation? But he heals her daughter ultimately. So does he renege against what he just said in verse 24? If his mission was only to the lost sheep and house of Israel, did he just disobey his mission, thereby failing the mission that was sent to him by the Most High?
Good point. That's a good point.
No, it's not.
Why is he saying that? Well, again, because she asked him to heal her daughter. She has so much faith. How many of us could say, after going to the Messiah, begging him, being asked to go away, being told, I'm not sent for you, then being called a dog, would still believe in that person? The story of Matthew 15 is to highlight faith, not to say that Gentiles aren't ish.
I want to give all the praises and the honor.
Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go there. And let's get some understanding, man. Now, when you go, man, they're working for that bag. They are working for that bag. But they're going to end up, the end result of these guys is going to be the same. All right? Prior to them being destroyed, they're going to be constantly dusted to powder, okay, by the true understanding of these scriptures they're trying to weaponize, all right, to try and somehow, join these heathen unto our promises, man. Okay, which is, these damnable heresies, unbeknownst to you men that are doing these things, man. Hey, capital offense, the Lord's gonna get at you. But anyways, Matthew 15, let's go there, right? Matthew 15, and let's start at verse 22, right? Let's start up a little bit, right? And let's make it make sense, right? And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast. Okay, now let's stop right there real quick. Now, the land of Canaan is the same land that Yahweh told Abraham to go to. Okay, because that was the land that was promised unto us, right? And he will move the Hamite nations out of that land. All right, by destroying them. What's that, Deuteronomy? Let's go there real quick. Let's show you something real quick. It's not a coincidence that she was coming out of the land of Canaan. We were there for how many years prior to this moment right here in Matthew 15? Right? So let's go to Deuteronomy 7 real quick. And let's read it from the top to show you that it wouldn't make sense for her to be a Canaanite based off the Lord's stance towards the Canaanites, towards the Hamites, bro, towards these heathen, man. Listen, bro. Deuteronomy 7:1. When the Lord, the Yahweh, thy power shall bring thee into the land, whither thou goest to possess it, speaking to the land of Canaan, right? And have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, the Gershishites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou, right? Which were doing odious works, pursuant to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12. Okay, look it. And when the Lord Yahweh, thy power, shall deliver them before thee, shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them, man. All right. Well, the last time I looked up the word smite, it means to delete. But anyway, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Now, granted, this was at this time, but we know pursuing the Malachi, 3 and 6 is it? That the Lord doesn't change. Here it is. He's telling us not to make a covenant with them, right? Because they will steer us away, right? From him. All right? Make no marriages or covenants, no agreements. But here it is. He's gonna they granted access. But let's keep reading because it's gonna explain itself. What I'm trying to explain is gonna break itself down if I just keep going. Right? And when the Lord Yahweh thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord Yahweh be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. Check this out. But thus shall ye deal with them, and ye shall destroy their altars, and break down their images, and cut down their groves, and break their graven images with fire. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord Yahweh thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Okay, the Lord isn't going to change this narrative right here. This narrative here, where the Lord saying that we are a holy people unto him, and he's chosen us to be a special people unto himself. This narrative doesn't change upon the appearing of Yahushua, who these guys are calling Jesus Christ. Okay, this narrative doesn't change. Okay, it's the same narrative. So we got to make this make sense. We got to understand what's happening here, right? In Matthew, the 15th chapter. All right, what's truly happening here? Who is this Canaanite woman? Right? She would be an Israelite foreigner, is who she is. She's an Israelite foreigner. Let's continue on. Now remember, the Lord said, well, the scriptures say that the tents of Judah. Let me see this. Let me see if I can get this real quick. The book of Zechariah, here it goes, chapter 12 and verse 7. It reads this: the Lord Yahweh also shall save the tents of Judah first. Okay? That the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. Okay? So things were going to begin with Judah. That's why Yahweh, and then at that time in Rome, all right, who was there? The southern kingdom for the most part. Did you ever sprinkle a northern kingdom there? Yeah. Okay, we can prove that too. But for the masses, okay, of Jake that was there, it was southern kingdom, continuing the Levitical priesthood under the Roman government. Yeah, that's where you have the Sanhedrin. Okay, now granted that the priesthood, was tainted. You had Jake doing backhanded deals, and tied in with the heathen, with Rome. They were doing that from the time of Antiochus Epiphany, man. But you got this nigga Jason, right? Which undermined Onias, the high priest, his brother at the time. You know, there's all types of scandalous shit was happening. But this point I'm making is that the tents of Judah, Yahweh Shai himself said what? I have sheep that are none of this fold. Okay? He was talking to who? Northern kingdom that was in Asareth over here in Babylon the Great, bro. And all through the West, Central, Southern Americas, man. That's what Yahweh Shai was talking to when he said, I have sheep that are none of this fold, because for the masses, you had Southern Kingdom in Rome. You see that? So, when we go back to Matthew 15 and continue on reading, it says this. Now, and check out the context as well. So, Matthew 15 and 22, and behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with a devil. Okay, so she was in a position where she understood who she was talking to. Okay, she knew who she was. She knew and understood that she's talking to the Messiah, man. All right, that's first and foremost. Now check this out. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she crieth after us. So his disciples told him, hey, Lord, you know, this woman, she's crying after us, man. You know, this woman from Canaan. Send her away. You know what I mean? Send her away. This is what Yahweh Shai said to them. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He said this to them when they told him, let's send her away. He told his disciples, look, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel, implying what? She was a Jake, but check it out. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. All right. But he answered her and said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to the dogs, bro. Okay. Now we know there's a scripture that goes into a woman can be likened unto a dog. Right. I forgot how it goes. What is it? A shameless woman. Okay. Right. And the brother makes that point as well. Should be counted on the dog. And also Jake, outside of this truth, can be likened unto a dog. Okay. The high priest that were going off. Matter of fact, I think there's a precept that goes into that. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Babak was shot. Let me see something real quick. What scripture is that? I think I found it. 2 Peter 2 and 22. Here we go. Right? But it happened unto them according to the true proverb. Right? The dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the soul that was washed to her wallowing in the mire. Right. And this is likened unto these. This is what these niggas did. All right. Your demon Hassad and demon Hakah are likened unto dogs. Why? Because they return back to their vomit. Right. They return back to dumb idols, the Jesus Christ, or what have you. Okay. And this is what our people were involved in. All right. Back in that time. They're still involved in it right now. You see? But she was in a position, okay, where she was a foreigner, Israelite foreigner, out of the land of Canaan, right? And ultimately, Yahweh Shai was letting her know the reality, okay, of the situation. Okay, but what happened at the end of the situation is the point. Right, let's go back. Because Yahweh Shai is austere, is what we also have to understand. You know, that's why that moment he ignored her. He didn't even say nothing to her. You know, there was a moment he didn't answer her a word. Right, but anyways, let's continue on. But check this out. Matthew 15 and 25 again. Then came she and worshipped him, which is another key aspect of her being Jake, right? Saying, Lord, help me. Her faith, bro. All right, look at. But he answered and said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it to dogs. And she said, truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which falleth from the master's table. Then Yahweh Shai answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. What I want to do is I want to jump up and I want to highlight something real quick. I want to reestablish the point I made regarding what Yahweh Shai said to his disciples. Okay? When they told him that this woman, in so many words, this woman is following us, you know, let's send her away. He said to his disciples, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. In so many words, he was telling them, like, nah, hold on, wait a minute, man. You know? But remember, Yahweh Shai speaks in parables, bro. Proverbs, Doc saying. That's why these niggas are looking at it like, but wait, he said that, old woman, what did he say to her? It is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it off. They're throwing left. These niggas don't know what's going on now. They think it means one thing, but no, the Lord, hey, we have the mind of Mashiach. We understand. And again, it goes back to going into precept. You got to go on. No, because what did the Lord tell his disciples to do? When we go into Matthew 10, come on, man, he would be contradicting himself, man. Right? When you go to Matthew 10, right? Man. When you go to Matthew 10, I'm going to start at 2 and read down. Because I'm going to make another point. I'm going to make 2 points right here real quick through the Spirit. Right? Now, the names of the 12 apostles are these. The first, Simon, who was called Peter, and Andrew, his brother. James, the son of Zebedee, and John, his brother. Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew, the publican. James, the son of Alphaeus, and Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus. Simon, the Canaanite. Simon, the Canaanite. All right, does this mean that Simon was a Canaanite? Hold on, bear with me, Akiamanakwa. Madness, man. Madness on a whole nother level. All right, Simon the Canaanite. We know, and this was to separate Simon Peter from Simon, the Lord's bro. All right, now we know Simon. He was also named. He was zealous. All right, Simon, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, let me see something real quick. Matter of fact, I'm gonna continue on. Look at and Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him, and we know Judas Iscariot was replaced with Matthias. Right? Now, these 12 Yahweh Shai sent forth and commanded them, saying, go ye not in the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. As a matter of fact, before I keep reading, there's a precept that just came to me. When you go to Acts, the 2nd chapter, talking to the Canaanite woman, real quick, once again, forgive me, this just hit me. When you go to the book of Acts chapter 2, right, I'm going to go straight to the point. In verse 5, now we know this was during the day of Pentecost, which Pentecost means the 50th day. All right, it's the seventh week after the Passover. All right. It also talks to the harvest, the final harvest. But check this out. Verse 5. All right, listen to this. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. All right, this precept alone shows you that the Gentiles, that Apostle Paul was on a mission to go to quicken, were Israelites, man. This precept alone sums that up. Let me read it one more time. Acts 2 and 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. Let's go. Come on now. What are we doing? What's going on? Okay? Now, let's go back to Matthew 10 and listen to what Yahushua said. Matthew 10 and 5. These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles. He's talking to the natural Gentiles, the heathen. And go not into any city of the Samaritans, enter ye not. Why? Because Samaria was flooded with primarily Hamites upon us being evicted from the land. Okay? The first thing Shalmaneser did, all right, was bringing heathen into our land. You can read about that in 2 Kings 17. Okay? And at this, the Yahushua knew that. He was like, don't even go that way. Right now, at least. Okay? Because later on, they were commanded to go there. I believe that's the book of Acts, the first chapter. But needless to say, let's go. Verse 6, listen to this. Go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you go preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Okay? Go seek out the lost sheep of the house of Israel, which is talking to the elect. All right, first and foremost, because we know, again, come on, man. They were renegade Jakes at that time. Okay? The undesirables, the 2/3, the degenerate branch. You know what I mean? They were there then. All right? The Lord's told them to go seek out the lost sheep, which is talking to the elect. You see that? The Lord, he changed his mind. He changed his mind in Matthew 15. He changed his mind. Come on, man. But this is what we got to deal with. But it's cool because, again, it keeps the sword sharp, through the spirit. And, and there's times where, more spiritual understanding comes out of this, out of this repetition of defending the gospel, The Lord would, things, more knowledge manifests, because we know the scriptures are, onion layered. There's just so much wisdom within them. It runs deep. But needless to say, I mean, at this point, hey, I'm beating a dead dog. And I'm not being facetious when I say that. I'm beating a dead dog. If I can, continue, we can continue. But pretty much that's it. I mean, let me see, through the spirit. Let's close out with there's so many scriptures. Let me do this. Yeah, I want to do this real quick. Let's make a point, and we gone. And these niggas are talking about Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? When you listen to them speak, they're saying Jesus now. Come on, man. Yeah, we understand. There'll be times when we say Jesus from a teaching standpoint, if we're teaching somebody new and we elaborate on the reality of the true name, but we're not going to be sitting here reading scriptures and spewing that JC, that's cringing to my ears, man. But let's make a point real quick and we out. All right, showing you that Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, all right, they agree. All right, Yahweh Shai didn't come and disannul, okay, the contract that Yahweh established through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and the 12 tribes of Israel, bro. And we know this. You beloved Aki Aminakwa, we know this. But anyways, let's do this real quick. Let's go to Malachi. I had mentioned it, but let's get it and we'll just lay it, we'll be out. Look at Malachi 3 and 6, and it reads, "For I am the Lord Yahweh, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed." The Lord has thrown us into captivities, various ones. But at the end of the day, the covenant promises, oaths, okay, that he's made with Abraham through Isaac and through Jacob will not subside. Okay? And it's through the elect, pursuant to Isaiah 1 and 9, all right, via Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, through the elect, that the rest of the nation, with the undesirables, will be granted access to the second covenant. You see? Because through the loins of the elect, they'll be born back into the kingdom. Hebrews 11 tells us that, what's that? Hebrews 11 and 28, I think it is? Or Romans 11? Romans 11 and 28. All Israel should be saved, bro. All Israel is going to be saved at the end of the day. Right? But check this out. So the Lord said he doesn't change. All right? Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Let's see if Yahweh Shai changes, man. Does Yahweh Shai change? Let's find out. Let's go to the book of Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 8. It reads this: Yahweh Shai Mashiach, the same yesterday and today and forever. All right? Hold on real quick. The book of Acts chapter 5 and verse 30, and it reads, "The power of our fathers raised up Yahweh Shai, whom ye slew and hanged on the tree. Him hath power exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins," bro. I got one more for you, and I'm out. Because remember, old girl was granted access to what? He healed her daughter at the end of the day, right? The book of Romans chapter 9 and verse 3, "For I could wish that myself," Apostle Paul speaking, "for I wish that myself were accursed from Mashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of power, and the promises, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Mashiach came, who is over all power, blessed forever. Amen." So Apostle Paul must have been lying. He must have been capping, as they say, right? This new gen, he's capping, right? He's lying. All right? But let's find out who established Apostle Paul and how this substantiates what he's talking about. Okay, right here. Okay? Real quick. The book of Galatians chapter 1 and verse 1. "Paul, an apostle, not of men, neither by man, but by Yahweh Shai, Mashiach, and power, the Father Yahweh, who raised him from the dead," bro. Okay? So we can stand on that Romans 9, man. We can stand on what Apostle Paul said. And that's something you wacky-tacky, bugged-out Christians can't run around. You can't run around that Romans 9. Okay? You try to, but you just find out you find yourself looking crazy. Okay? When you try to run around Romans the 9th chapter. Okay? Which is straight to the point. It's straight cut to the point. It doesn't even take no breaking down. Okay? And when you try to run around it, okay, you end up falling victim. You end up becoming another individual that falls victim, all right, to when false doctrine goes wrong, as we titled it, through the Spirit, bro. All right, so yeah, Lord willing, you beloved Aki Aminakwath will edify. A Lord willing, you were spiritually fed through the Spirit power, mercy and grace of our power. All right, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, the power of the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. I just want to qualify this real quick. There are going to be Israelites that look like the other nations. Due to the scattering of Deuteronomy 28 and 64, the curse of us being scattered in all nations amongst all people, there are going to be Israelites that look like other nations, that look like heathen. This is something we have to also understand, and we qualify it all the time. You know, this is not a black only, Latino only. No, there's Israelites that are going to look like the heathen, bro. And guess what? Ultimately, as it tells us in Romans, the 8th chapter, their spirit will bear witness with the spirit that they're a child of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I lent this 144% truth. Hey, Lord willing, you beloved Akiyam and Akwaf will edify, man. Hey, stay prayed up, fast as well as pray. Yahweh Shai is on his way, man. All right, and we will see. All right, at the end of the day, we will see. We'll see, okay, if Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai will favor, all right, these heathen. We'll see. We'll see. But we already know, all right, that's not going to be the case. We already know through the Spirit, man. Hey, till next time, beloved Akiyam and Akwaf. Till next time, hey, Shalom.